Nurses, what's the funniest thing someone has said while high on anesthesia? So this middle-aged dude named Tom comes in for routine knee surgery. Nothing fancy, just cleaning up some torn cartilage. He seemed pretty normal during pre-op, just nervous like everyone else. Kept asking if we had any snacks because he'd been fasting since midnight. We told him the usual stuff about no eating before surgery, and he nodded along. The anesthesiologist starts his countdown, telling Tom to relax and count backwards from 10. Tom gets to about 7 when suddenly he sits bolt upright and shouts, "Don't touch the snack drawer! It's cursed." Everyone in the OR just froze. Dr. Williams, our anesthesiologist, looked confused. The surgeon stopped prepping. I mean, what do you even say to that? We thought maybe he was having some kind of panic attack or weird reaction to the meds, but Tom was already out, completely unconscious, breathing steady. We figured it was just random nonsense, you know? People say weird stuff when they're going under. So we continued with prep, positioning his leg, getting the instruments ready. About 5 minutes in, I lean over to grab some gauze from the bedside cabinet. That's when I accidentally knocked into this whole stack of snack packets sitting on the shelf. Chips, granola bars, those little cookies from the vending machine, candy bars, all of it went flying. It was like an explosion of junk food hitting the floor, bouncing everywhere, making this huge mess. Tom's eyes snap open for just a second, still completely loopy, and he whispers, "See, I told you it was cursed." Then his head drops back down. The entire surgical team just lost it. We're all trying not to laugh too loud while picking up Cheetos and Kit Kats off the sterile floor. Even Dr. Williams was cracking up behind his mask, but that was just the beginning. For the next 20 minutes, Tom kept mumbling these incredibly detailed warnings about everything in the room. He told us the stapler was plotting against the clipboard because it was jealous of how much paper it got to hold. The blood pressure cuff was apparently an undercover spy working for the hospital administration to steal our lunch money. The fourth bag kept smiling at the ceiling because it knew secrets about the night shift that we didn't want to hear. Every time one of us tried to reassure him that everything was fine, he'd contradict us with some new revelation. He insisted the surgical mask had a hidden agenda to steal pens from our pockets when we weren't looking. The heart monitor was supposedly gossiping about other patients in different rooms. The oxygen tank was planning a retirement party, but didn't want to invite the wheelchair because it had trust issues. At one point, Tom looked directly at Dr. Williams and said very seriously, "Your beard is whispering to the surgical lights about your weekend plans. You might want to have a talk with it about privacy." Dr. Williams doesn't even have a beard. He's completely clean-shaven. But Tom was so convinced, he kept giving him advice about beard maintenance and grooming products. The funniest part was when he started narrating what he thought we were all thinking. He'd point at me and say, "She's wondering if she left her car lights on, but she's also craving pizza," which was actually completely accurate, by the way. Then he'd look at the surgical tech and announce, "He's thinking about his girlfriend's birthday next week and whether flowers or jewelry would be better, but he's also worried about his mom's doctor appointment on Thursday." Again, spot on. By the end of the surgery, even our normally serious surgeon was having to step away from the table because he was laughing so hard. Tom had convinced himself that the entire operating room was some kind of elaborate social experiment where medical equipment had feelings and opinions about our personal lives. He kept apologizing to the instruments for disturbing their meditation time and thanking the surgical table for being so supportive during this difficult time. When Tom finally woke up in recovery, he had zero memory of any of it. We told him he'd said some funny stuff while under, but he just shrugged it off. The crazy part is, weeks later during his follow-up appointment, he brought up the cursed snack drawer again. He swore up and down that his predictions had been true, especially about that cabinet being bad luck. He even brought his own granola bars to the appointment, just in case.